Okay, hi again. Today I'm looking at my new Hobbymate D6 Duo Pro charger. That's quite a mouthful at this time in the morning. Anyway, it's two ports, one and two obviously. It runs off the mains, which it's plugged into at the minute, or it's got another XTC30 socket there for you to plug a battery in, so you can charge from a battery or from the mains. I got it for charging up my aeroplane batteries, and also because I've got this R349 that uses these cells which take forever on a cheaper charger, and I don't like parallel charging particularly, but it's okay, I do it sometimes. But yeah, I wanted to be able to charge these up quite quickly and safely, and yeah, so decided to go for this. This will do up to, as it says, 15 amps on a DC power supply, 650 watts in total shared between the channels. So you have to work out what cell batteries, how many cells, what voltage you are as to how much current you can actually do. But it's quite a lot anyway. If you're putting 15 amps into a battery, it's going to be a seriously big battery for you to do that. Most of the time, you're only going to be putting a couple of amps in. An amp on these 650 milliamps for 1C. I charge them at 2C, so that's 1.2 amps per channel, and that's no problem with that on a full cell. This does that on both DC and AC. AC is limited to 200 watts, which is still enough to do two of these at 1.2 amps, no problem at all. It doesn't suffer, it probably do more, I'm sure. But yeah. So obviously it's got a nice display. Main reason I liked it because I wanted the mains power with no external power supply, and as you can hear, no fan. And that was the biggest selling point for it. It has got a fan, but it doesn't run until the temperature gets up to 60 degrees, which it probably gets to after about 5, 6, 7 minutes, depending on how much current you're drawing through it, running on the mains. It gets to 60, the fan comes on for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, brings the temperature down to 50 or something like that, a bit under 50, and then the fan goes off and it's all quiet again. So whilst it's running, it is pretty loud. It's like most fans, they're all a bit annoying and a bit loud, but it's not too insufferable. And like I say, most of the time it's completely quiet, so that's what I wanted. So yeah, main features, the two channels, you can switch between them. I'll show you, if I press this quick one, you have the choices of charge, discharge, external discharge. Now I think that's if you put a load onto something and then you can discharge the external batteries or something like that. So you can discharge faster, but most people aren't really going to bother with that. Balance, just balances the cells up, doesn't charge them, just balances them. Storage puts them to 3.8 volts. External discharge just uses the internal thing to discharge your batteries. And charge. You select charge, you've got your lipo, you can choose all your different types. HV, lipo, Li and life, LIXX, whatever that is. Now the other thing I like is you can choose your own cell voltage. Look at this. So if you don't want to charge your battery all the way up, better for your batteries if you sort of put it to a bit less, you can choose all the way down to 4 volts for a lipo and up to 4.25 volts. Obviously, if you do it to HV, you'd go even higher voltages than your cell count, obviously. That kind of automatically detects it. If you plug a 4 cell in, it knows it's a 4 cell. If you plug a 3 cell in, it knows it's a 3 cell. Current, obviously, so I do 1.2 amps. And then start task. Now, if I then press this button, this channel is set the same, it's got a 4 cell, so it kind of remembers. So I can set them both going and look at both of them at the same time. see the current going in, the mAh, the voltage and the watts. So at the minute that's doing 18 watts, so that's 40 watts, so nowhere near the 200 watts that it can provide, so that's absolutely fine. And then it tells you your cell voltages from that one to that one, from that one to that one, so the lowest cell and the highest cell. But if you press again, you get all 4 cells and all the other stuff, information shown as well. Now, when you're on this one, where you're on an individual channel, you can then move your wheel across, and down here you've got your internal resistance, so it tells you the health of the cells. For each cell, this one's 15, 20, 20, 20, so that's pretty good for a 650 milliamp battery, that's not bad. And we go again, and you can see the temperature at the minute is 40 degrees C, and I think this tells you how many times it's charged up, that piece is, I'm not too sure, and the input voltage. Excuse me. Now, yeah, so that's quite useful to know, and the same for the other channel. What's interesting is your internal resistance changes as the cell charges up. So at different points in its charge, it shows different internal resistances. I don't really know how that affects things, but it's interesting to know. So, yep, that's all pretty good. Then we can stop it. I'll stop them both because I don't want them charging all the way up anyway. Now, if we do a long press, we get some of the other parameters. You've got your safety timer, maximum capacity, and the one I like is your end current percentage. So it's set to 10%, but if I click it I can change that. So obviously if I go right down to 5%, that will charge more accurately, but take a bit longer at the end of the charge. If I'm in a bit more of a rush, I just want it to be much faster, I can change the percentage of the current all the way up to 50%. So by putting a higher percentage at the end current, you will shorten the charge time. But obviously you won't quite get the same capacity in there, and balance may not be as accurate. So I've left it on 10, that takes a reasonably, probably at the end of the charge it takes about 5-6 minutes just to trickle, sort of top them off and balance them up, so that's pretty good. Trickle charge. I turned that off because once they're charged I don't want any more current going into them, whereas you can leave that on so that, you know, if they're left on for a long time it'll keep them trickle charged, but I don't think that's a particularly good idea, so I turned that off. Then we have system parameters, language, English. Your maximum power input, you can change that. You know, if you've got a smaller battery you can change to lower wattage. If your battery can't supply 700 watts. Your minimum input voltage, LCD backlight, wireless charging off, that's for a phone. You can put a phone on there if it's got wireless charging on there, charge your phone up. I tried it, it didn't really work, so I turned it off. Plus, if you have that on, the fan does go all the time, so best to just turn that off and have it peace and quiet. Then you've got your beeper volume, low at the minute. Completion signal, I've just got single beep, but you can have it repeating, so it just keeps beeping until you go and turn it off, and then set your name. Okay, pretty good. Channel 1 calibration, that would be for if it's not charging your batteries properly, each cell you can set that up, but this is doing it absolutely spot on, so I haven't bothered changing that. System self-check, that just does it. Same thing as when you power it on, it just checks itself, makes sure everything's okay, and then lets you charge things up. Factory settings, I presume that will just take you back to factory settings. System info. Now, if you look, this is on software 1.0.29. It came with 1.0.28, and with that, when you plugged it into the mains, the fan comes on and stays on all the time. So I updated to 1.0.29, and that sorted that out. The way to do that is explained in the manual. You plug it in, there's a USB socket on the side, there's two. There's a little one, which is the one for updating your firmware. You plug that into a PC. There's another one for charging up your mobile phone or any USB device. So yeah, you plug that into your computer, you hold your button, your power on, and you run a program that is linked to from their instructions, and in a few seconds it's updated and it restarts and it works again, and it's all good. So yep, and that is it. It's fairly straightforward, pretty simple, does the job. There's no temperature probe for putting on your batteries, which I think that might have been a nice touch, but it's not a big deal. I mean, you shouldn't leave your batteries alone anyway when you're charging. You should always be near enough to keep an eye on them. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. It's nice and small, compact. That's look how small that little Eachine Red Devil looks on there. AR349, you can see it's pretty small. It looks like it sits on there. It's nice and small for charging two batteries up. Nice, compact. So I like it. I'm pleased with it. Now, the other thing you'll see in the background is this Hobbymate bag. It's a lipo safe bag. If I just move this to one side, so we can bring this in. I'll show you this. This is quite good. It's nice and cheap, and it's very big. So you can see I can get my X-Lite inside there. That fits inside. Goes inside that bag. So, sorry, that will have been very loud. Yeah, as you can see, the X-Lite just sits in there, and you can chuck a quad in there as well, some batteries, and if it rains, you're all protected. That's quite good. It's a decent size. It's only about £10–12 or something like that as well. And it also just folds right down to that, so stores away. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's always handy to have when you're charging lipos. You're supposed to put them in a bag like this, just in case they catch fire. If they catch fire inside this bag, they'll destroy themselves, but they won't destroy your house. So that's quite an important thing. I tend to charge in a different room outside the main house anyway, so that's not really too much of an issue for me. But even so, it's worth considering. So yeah, that's the charger. That's what I've done. I've been using it for the last couple of weeks to charge these up, basically, and it's been absolutely spot on. Really good. So it was bought from Hobbycool on Amazon in the UK, but you can get them off from the main Hobbycool. I think they even sell them on Banggood as well now. But yeah, they're price-wise, they're not the cheapest, but they're not the most expensive. I think it was about £140, £150. But they come on offer all the time, so go and check. Sometimes they come down to a sort of £100. Sounds quite a lot just for a charger, especially if you're just used to flying whoops and the little chargers. But when you get into bigger stuff, bigger planes, bigger quads, you appreciate something like this. Obviously, you could do more than two batteries by just plugging in a parallel charger, and you can charge loads of batteries and really bang up the amps and get quite a few batteries charging all at once. So you could do it that way as well. You could also pop that in that bag with a big battery and take it to the field with you and charge up at the field. So pretty useful thing to have. Okay, thanks very much. If you like it, give us a thumbs up. If you don't, give us a thumbs down, or don't, please. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff. And thanks very much. I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.